New Zealand First leader Winston Peters is distancing himself from the foundation at the centre of a potential serious fraud office investigation. Following an Electoral Commission investigation into political donations made to the New Zealand First Foundation, the matter was referred to the police and then on to the SFO. But Mr Peters says there's no evidence or proof electoral donation laws were broken. Our political reporter Jo Moir has the story.
24 hours after the SFO announced it was looking into whether an offence had been committed, Winston Peters fronted media at Parliament.
I don't expect that anybody at the SFO is going to be talking to Winston Peters. Guess why? I was not involved in any way, shape or form.
Already distancing himself from the New Zealand First Foundation, Mr Peters is adamant the SFO doesn't have a case to pursue an investigation.
What the SFO will look at is the evidence and proof where you could make such a conclusion. And they have no such proof and they have no such evidence. And we've got an illegal opinion to back up what we've said. So that's all I can say at this point in time. I see no point in trying to presage what the investigation might do. Our job is to cooperate to the full. I'm very confident of that. And I expect other political parties to do the same as well.
Yesterday, the Electoral Commission concluded money given to the secretive foundation should have been treated as party donations, should have been passed on to the party and declared. But that didn't happen. It's precisely those concerns the SFO is now tasked with clearing up. While Mr Peters says both he and the party have done nothing wrong, the memory of the last time his party had dealings with the SFO in 2008 are still fresh. That investigation saw the party thrown into political exile, and so despite Mr Peters maintaining all is well, he says he had no choice but to review its donations policy.
Because you had all these rumours swirling about and we needed to correct them. Otherwise, the kind of thing that happened past times in 2008, you recall what happened then, don't you? There was a full-scale investigation by the Electoral Commission, the police and the SFO. When it was all over, Winston Peters was utterly exonerated. Those are the facts.
New Zealand First isn't alone in its dealings with the SFO. Last month, the watchdog began pursuing criminal charges over an alleged $100,000 donation to National, but not against the party or its leader, Simon Bridges. The opposition leader wants the New Zealand First matter resolved swiftly, so voters have some idea of the outcome of a possible investigation into the foundation. Mr Bridges says the SFO should be mindful it's an election year.
Voters have a right to know the decisions by the SFO before the election. That's incredibly important.
But the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, says Mr Bridges' comments are out of line.
I think it's entirely inappropriate for politicians, especially those who themselves are being investigated by the SFO, to issue any kind of orders to the Serious Fraud Office. They're an independent agency. We need to ensure they remain that way.
After not specifically saying so yesterday, Ms Ardern was asked again if she trusts the Deputy Prime Minister, Winston Peters.
I do. I work with him every day. I couldn't operate this government without a trusting relationship with Winston Peters.
There's not a lot Mr Peters and Mr Bridges agree on, but a speedy response from the SFO is one of them. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Jo Moir.